In this part, we are going to discuss how the alarms work and how the sump pumps actually operate when there are two of them and they're trying to take the water out. So just a recap of what we have done before. This is a perimeter drain, a foundation drain, which we discussed. Just a recap. There's a round pipe with perforations on the side from where on the water goes in and it accumulates here, the water accumulates here, and it slopes down to this pipe, which is, of course, this is a rigid pipe because from this is connected to here. And the reason you see the difference is because by the time it gets around the house with the slope it's required with, it will actually drop down. So what we have is now the water is accumulating in the sump. So the water is accumulating in the sump, and we have the water is coming down into the sump, and it starts to fill up. So it starts to fill up in the concrete sump, and it starts to fill up. No pump is working, and once it hits the float number 2, which is this one here, so which means the lead pump is on. So let's say we number the pumps. This has 1 and this has 2. So the lead pump is 1. So this turns on and it takes the water from here all the way to the grid sump, from where there's a backwater valve, and it fills up. It fills up, and slowly this will, once it fills up to a certain extent, and then whatever water comes in will go into the city gravity or the city main. And now the pump has worked, and of course it is going to take the water out, and the second pump, the third float in here, is basically the pump will turn off as that float drops down, which means that there is some water which always will be there. So usually it's about 6 inches. But there's another school of thought where this immersion, this is like a Cadillac of design. If I were to do it, I would just make the sump even more deeper so that I can immerse the pumps totally. It's total immersion of the pumps. Of course, the benefit of doing that is, I'm going slightly off topic, but it's important to note. I will be bringing it up again. So what's going to happen is, like, the pumps will always will be submerged in water, and they're fine. So they won't rust. The only time these pumps start rusting, which is metal pumps, they're cast iron pumps. There's cast iron in it. So it's the bodies are cast iron, so they'll start to rust when the metal is exposed to oxygen. So oxidation occurs, and thus the rust occurs, and of course, like, the life is compromised for a pump. So what I would do is, but usually, like in most of the circumstances, you'll see you have about 6 inches of water always there. So there is some, so there's always will be water in the bottom part of the sump, so that the pumps don't run dry. So as we said, this one was pump number 1 and this one was pump number 2. The first load, which was taken off by pump number 1, the water the water filled to this level. Pump one worked, and the water was pumped all over to the gravity system, and then the pump stopped. Now the water is still coming in, and it pumps up again, and it fills up to the same level. Now when this pump is on, the pump number 2 becomes duty. So the alarm panel has intelligence in it, and it's programmed so that the pump 1 and 2 start at alternate. Every time the pump starts, it changes between standby and duty. So the pump 2 will start, and it will do the same thing what pump 1 did. It will take the water out and take it out to the city, and of course it will come down. And when the next pump comes on, the pump 1 starts. So what this gives is an equal runtime on both the pumps. Now, having said that, now let's see how the alarms work. So the pumps, obviously, they're alternating between duty and standby. After 2 years, both the pumps have worked equally hard, equal number of times, and it maintains the pumps at a similar level, and there is you don't have much more runtime on one pump on the other. So let's see what happens when how the alarms work. Now, let's say your water is being filled up. So your water is being filled up. It was already here, and it filled up all the way to this level. Let me color it so that it makes more sense. Now we have water all the way here. Let's just assume pump number 1, which was our left-hand pump, was supposed to turn on. And for some reason, it didn't. So the reason could be it doesn't have the power, the breaker flipped, or the pump has gone kaput, it's not operational, so the pump 1 does not turn on. And the water will start rising because the pump 1 didn't turn on, and the second pump doesn't know what to do, like it doesn't get a signal. So on the higher level, this is the 3 alarm system which is most common in a residential market. So when it comes to the third, to this one, so which means it says right here, it's a high level alarm. So the alarm panel, which is located inside or outside, will give an audible alarm, which means that your one of the pumps did not work and you have high level. It doesn't say that the second pump didn't work, okay? So the pump number 2 will turn on. It will turn on and the water will start to go down. The water will start to go down and it will go all the way down until the pump off float flips, which means that the pump will turn off. So this is the reason why the pump 2 will turn on, because the alarm and the alarm panel will initiate the pump 2. Now there's one more scenario. So now the alarm will be off. So basically the audible alarm will be off, but you have gotten a signal that something was wrong. You got an alarm on the house security panel, or as enhanced alarm where you get a text message or a phone call. That means that you have to do something about it. So next time when the pump one's the turn comes, so obviously this is going to happen again. So this alarm, the pump won't turn on because it's off, and then when it comes to the next level, the alarm will turn on. So you will get this messages. The audibility of the alarm will go off as the water is taken out. That means that this is the indication of alarm system. So if this level flips, that will alarm the system. But when it goes down, the alarm will go off, basically the audibility of it. But since you already have the alarm, you know something is wrong.